The Piping Live Glasgow International Piping Festival was launched in 2003 as Piping Hot, a few casual events staged by the relatively new Piping Centre. The main purpose was to provide some entertainment for the increasing number of pipers, drummers, and enthusiasts coming to Glasgow for the World Pipe Band Championships. Today, Piping Live is by far the biggest piping festival in the world. It offers a sophisticated and eclectic mix of pure performance, peppered with several competitions over 8 days. Every new year brings a challenge for change to ensure the festival stays vibrant while satisfying the appetite for competition. In addition to being the director of piping at the National Piping Centre, Finlay MacDonald is the artistic director of Piping Live. And along with his roles as the National Piping Centre's head of piping studies and the head of the Bachelor of Traditional Music Piping degree program run by the Centre and the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, John Mulhearn is Piping Live's artistic planning and programming director. Working closely with festival manager Helen Urquhart, MacDonald and Mulhearn combine their entrenchment in Scottish, Celtic folk music and competitive piping to develop 8 days of programming designed to entertain, educate, enlighten, and even thrill their audiences. We caught up with Finlay and John for a two-part discussion on highlights and changes on tap for Piping Live 2025, as well as some of the challenges, issues, and rewards accompanying the planning and production of the world's biggest celebration of piping. It's Pipes Drums in May 2025, and we're really pleased to have Finlay MacDonald and John Mulhearn from Piping Live. They are both intrinsically closely involved with the management of Piping Live, the biggest festival of piping in the world, as all of you know. And Finlay is the artistic director of Piping Live, and John is the artistic planning and programming director. So thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Nice
Good
to
to
see
be
you.
here and nice to see you.
Good to see you guys too. Uh, you know, 2025, the festival's been going on for a long time now, a couple of decades. What is on tap? What are some of the highlights for 2025 Piping Live?
Yeah, I'll maybe jump in with that one, John, just to
Okay.
start. And you're right, Andrew. This is going to be the 22nd edition of Piping Live. So it's kind of crazy to think we're 21 down and the 22nd to come. And I guess a bit of a change this year, a bit of a coming of age maybe, in that the last few years, obviously during COVID, it was a different story. But as we came out of COVID, we weren't quite sure where things were going to go and how people were going to react. But we found last year was really kind of busier than we'd been in any other year previously, even pre-COVID things, especially around the centre here, with what we called in the street cafe, and anyone that's been would remember the kind of the two tents round the front. But the reality was last year we needed a bigger tent, or we needed bigger tents, because that was kind of filling to capacity pretty quickly. And then it was a slightly awkward shape, the L-shaped thing. So I'd been kind of thinking about this for a few years, but I'd thought about kind of turning the whole thing round a bit and having the stage right in front of the centre. So leaning against the centre, so between the front door and the door to the tryst, we're putting an outdoor stage. So it'll be covered, but what that opens up is for the whole stair area in the front to become like a natural amphitheatre for the gig that's on. And we've got bits of cover around, and we're saying the cover is there to shield everyone from the glorious sunshine, not from the rain. But we're going for a much more open air festival site kind of feel. So that whole area you can imagine in front of the centre and the flat piece on top is now going to be the festival site, and round the side, we're going to have a marquee there, which we're calling the Bothy tent, which is going to be a kind of more acoustic based, kind of slightly quieter, more kind of chilled out vibe. And round the main stage, what we're calling the centre stage, is going to be a lot of the stuff that people know and love. So the Pipe Idol competition, the international artists, the emerging talent stage, and then what that's allowed us to do is finish every day with a headliner. So we've got one of the some of the top traditional bands playing on that centre stage to finish each day off. And then on top of that, on the kind of the other side of the building, We've got a kind of really cool bar area with different more food offerings and just making it feel more like a proper festival, a kind of outdoor festival, rather being stuck to that idea of two tents.
That sounds like a real like a major change for the setup, the format of the festival. It's going to be really exciting to see that, I think. John, considering that your bailiwick is programming, what about some of the acts that you're most excited to see coming to 2025 Piping Live?
Yeah, well, I think this idea of having essentially two stages outside, whereas in the past we've had one stage. It's opened up a lot more programming for us, and more options for the type of programming that we do, which is it's a bit of a breath of fresh air, when we're sitting in programming meetings. In kind of recent years, we felt a little bit stayed perhaps with the format, and certainly that this new layout has opened up more opportunities. So I guess like Finlay was saying, we've got I guess what we were calling a headliner for each day, which is pretty good, and it's mainly sort of up and coming young trad acts, that are doing new and exciting things in traditional music. So, for instance, we've got Malin Lewis. Malin's making some really quite cutting edge, exciting pipe music at the moment. We've also got, for the more kind of West Coast feel, we've got Ben Lee playing, which is kind of, yeah, very much in what seems to be this kind of emerging real popularity for, I guess, what would you call it, like Celtic rock. I'm going to use terrible ways of describing that there, but nevertheless, I think it's something that you see across festivals Scotland wide. Actually, this sort of growing popularity of bands that have got this kind of West Highland feel to their music. So we've got stuff like that. Um, and amongst, a bunch of the kind of usual things that we'll see, like Finlay was saying, we've got Pipe Idol, which is always a really exciting event anyway. So yeah, it's great, and like I say, it's invigorated our conversations about the festival. So internally, we're just like, yeah, really excited about it this year.
Yeah, it sounds like it's always struck us, considering Piping Live originated and still does take advantage of the World Pipe Band Championships and all those competitive pipers and drummers coming in and liking the competition side of things. How do you go about balancing between kind of pure performance and this kind of more competitive, traditional sort of pipe band style content that would go on for the festival.
Well, I'll start anyway, but as we were saying earlier, we're now in the 22nd year of the festival, and when Roddy and Alberto kind of started the festival at first, it was about that kind of celebration of all different kinds of piping. So whether that be competition piping and pipe bands or solos, or the international acts that are bringing and playing indigenous pipes, or the kind of more folk traditional trad stuff that we're doing. So there's always been that blend, and I think like John and I were talking about it recently. Competition is so inherent and so baked in to Scottish piping that it's hard to separate that a lot of the time. But I think we do have to try and reach that balance, because if we just did a whole week of competitions, then it's the same thing again. So even the competitions we have, the Masters, for example, has become probably one of the biggest on that level and the most popular. But then something like the quartets is, it's that bit different, a wee bit more kind of freedom for the bands. And then the Alistair Gillis, I think the players there feel as if, it's more like a recital challenge type thing rather than that kind of, three judges on the pen competition. But we have to balance that with things like the Cool New Year that we try and push every year, the new music, creation of new music, and understanding and bringing in, opening out to musicians from all over the world. So it's a balance, but I think the reality is that lots of pipers and drummers that are here for the Worlds, they love competition. So we shouldn't exclude them either from doing that. But it's about balancing it, and just trying to kind of get that mix right. And one thing that I found really cool last year, on the Monday, we have the Masters on in here in the centre, but at the same time we had a gig on in Nice and Sleazy's, which is a great kind of grungy kind of like underground venue on Sucky Hall Street, and that was full with this cool newer with Bede Patterson from Australia, Fionnog McAfee from the Highlands playing really cutting edge contemporary music, and that was full, and the Masters was full. And to me, that's like great because it's that balance on both sides of it, and we're promoting and kind of showcasing piping of all forms, And I think I'm not jumping the gun, but one of the things I'm really looking forward to is this year we've managed to get a Ukrainian band over to play Ukrainian pipes, and I think that's going to be really quite special. The guys that are playing had to get special permission to leave from their kind of army duties to come and represent Ukraine at the festival, so that's something that we're really delighted about.
Yeah, that sounds like a fantastic thing. You can't, I mean, you talked about being more like other festivals, like other music festivals, where Glastonbury or Coachella has different stages for different tastes.
Yeah,
It seems like Piping Live is kind of taking the cue from that kind of strategy, I guess.
yeah, totally.
Something
Yeah,
for everybody.
yeah.
That's great. So, Piping Live is obviously it's a massive undertaking. Are you already planning for 2026, or does that start the day after 2025 festival ends?
Um, Aye, I mean, I think Helen Urquhart, who's the festival manager, she would tell you that it's literally as a non-stop thing. We're constantly, thinking about this year and next year, and then there's a wee bit of a kind of review of there's a big review and stuff after a wee bit of kind of stepping back from the festival, but actually, come September, October, we're looking at acts for next year and the shape of the festival, and so it really is it's kind of non-stop and all year round.
Yeah, I can imagine, and probably as we are seeing, it grows every year. There's something new, so creativity is key.